And I've had acupuncture in the past, but they've never like hurt. And these ones really hurt. Like yeah, I don't know. It was just like specific points. It's like I knew he knew his shit by like, like when you see fuzz on a television screen and it's like that, it was like that feeling, but in my body. And it was just like a resetting. And I was feeling the physical sensations. It was really connecting me to my body and kind of bringing me out of that, like, oh, I'm just off in the astral, like floating around. It was like very much like this bridging of the physical and the spiritual almost. It was very powerful.
In the physical world, looking for the things that we want. Tall guy, big muscles, whatever, likes plants, likes animals, right? But in the energetic world, that person can only come when he is in that same state, and he's got to be in the state already. He can't be trying to be in the state because he's not in the state, and you're attracting somebody who's in that state. And if they're not in that state, then they're not going to be on the alignment with you.
And trusting, like leaning into trusting, like that's been the biggest thing for me. Kind of like, as you were saying about the manifestation, like really trusting that I am held and that everything is coming to me in perfect time and that things are happening. Not even like moving from the victim is a big one at the moment for me. I think like not even like things are happening, obviously making the step from things are happening to me to things are happening for me is such a massive piece. But then even moving past that, like it's not things are happening for me, things are happening as me. I've literally created the situation.
I've been having sports massages regularly, and I can't explain the power of the sports massage. I used to have such a stiff neck, and now that's all sorted out. I can move my arm behind my back. I can lift things differently. Like how my muscles are because of the sports massage is life-changing. So for a very, very long time, everyone in the spiritual world has always said the importance of stretching. And like anything, first you hear it and you'd be like, oh, maybe I should do that. And then more and more people say it because every time you think about it, it's coming back to you. And so now you're like, oh, this is all a sign. And eventually you get around to doing the thing that you know you should be doing, such as stretching. And then you really get into it and you realize the power of stretching. Now, when I was younger, I used to play football. And I used to stretch just because the coach said stretch, and I really wanted to just play the football match. As I'm getting older, I'm realizing that muscles and joints and tendons and ligaments are only getting tighter. And if you want to stay flexible and not walk around like an old man, you need to be mobile. So now I'm really getting into stretching, but rather than doing it because I'm told you should be doing it, I'm actually doing it because I enjoy the process of doing it. So it's very therapeutic, it's very meditative, and I do feel a lot looser and more mobile afterwards. And the point is that even though we know we should be doing certain things, we can't be told to do them. It has to come when it's meant to happen. And when that time is, you'll never know. It could be months, it could be years. But ultimately, if it's something that you know you should be doing, eventually it will become part of your routine. That's it. You can talk now.
Talk about stretching.
Whatever comes to mind,
like...
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's really interesting that you said that. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it just feels very aligned. And not even about the stretching, but about the thing about like the thing that you know that you're supposed to be doing, like coming in when you are kind of, I guess, wanting it for a long time, because like that's the way we create it, right? That's how we create our reality. Like we've already put the call out to experience the experience that we're currently experiencing, but then we almost kind of, I feel like there's a delay in our experiences. Like that's like the point of manifestation, right? The delay of like experience. And so for me, that's really powerful because I'm currently really stepping into this new expansion and this piece that is something that I've been knowing I've been needing to do for a really long time, but I haven't really been doing it. So it's just very interesting that I've kind of hopped on here and you've just started speaking about that straight away. Very
Well,
synchronistic.
my podcast bio is I just let whatever comes to my mind come to my mind, and it always is relevant to the guest. So I'm very in
Yeah,
tune. I don't plan
yeah,
shit. I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I just literally say what comes to my mind as and when I press record. And it's always
love that.
related just because of just that's just how the universe works. I get something from it in terms of what I'm seeking, and the other person most of the time does as well. So yeah, there is a period, a delay of the manifestation, and it is about 3 weeks for whatever reason. It could be the moon cycle is about 28 days, 21 days, whatever. Women's period cycle. It could be something to do with the moon and how long things take. But I've noticed there is a specific time frame, and it is literally around 3 weeks where when I want something, it happens. And I wanted things to happen immediately with everything in life back in the day when I was younger. And I used to get annoyed how I couldn't get it. And then I'd push against my own path and I'd push it away further. And I realized all I got to do is put out one thought and then it will show up, not tomorrow, not the next day, but 3 weeks later. And when you get that pattern occurring over and over and over again, and you get it, then you really have no problem not having it now, because you realize when you put chicken in the oven on a Sunday, it's not ready in 10 minutes, it's ready in 2 hours. And you can't snack along the way, because that's the whole point of putting the chicken in the oven, is that you want to enjoy the chicken. So if you want something specifically, put it out there specifically and wait for the order to come, and don't compromise for anything that isn't that order. Like if you put chicken in the oven, you don't expect a lamb joint to come out. You expect chicken, 2 legs, 2 wings, maybe a wishbone. Yes.
I love the 3 week thing. Like that's amazing. That's really great that you've created that reality where it's 3 weeks and that's just what it is. I feel like for me it's been like way longer, but it's getting quicker. So that's interesting that I really like that 3 week thing. Like, yeah, 3 weeks, amazing. Love that. Um yeah, I feel like for me it's been like a lot longer in my life, like generally, but like obviously that's a limitation as well. So even you saying that has created uh shattering of that limitation, which is really powerful. So thank you for that reflection. I really appreciate you in that.
Yeah. So obviously, you can manifest things 5 minutes as you walk out the house, like thinking of your neighbor and they walk past. Or you could want something that requires a little bit more work, such as a job or a partner or a specific gig in a specific area. There's more variables to line up. So the more variables, the longer it takes, right? You just need more things to align. If there's 7 things that need aligning, well, they've all got to line up themselves first. That takes a while. One variable, such as, am I going to meet the neighbor on a dog walk tonight at 5? Probably. There's just one variable. So depending on what you're trying to manifest, it does have different time order. Like I now expect things to happen quickly, but it is about 3 weeks depending on what I think about. So if it's something really complex, it still is averagely about 3 weeks. If it's something really small, like am I going to meet someone at the gym, probably when I leave the house today. But yeah, you can also stop that. You can always fuck up that time frame and make it longer by thinking it's going to be longer. So as you were saying,
Mhm.
if you're expecting it to come longer, then by observing that 3 week period of when it was coming, you collapse it. So it knows you're observing it, so it does the opposite and it comes longer. And then you go, oh, see, told myself it was going to come in 6 weeks. Well, actually, no, expected to be in 3 weeks, and it will be in 3 weeks, but you can't observe it. That's the fucked up thing about it, is if you observe it once, it knows, and it does the opposite.
Yeah, so true. I love that. Yeah, it's like letting go, isn't it? That's I feel like that's like the biggest key piece of manifesting anything is just to let go. Just to be like, this is what I want, and then just like release all attachment to it altogether. And I feel like that's what for me has been the piece where there's something I've been manifesting for like years and years and years. And it's only because I've been clinging on to the desire for it that's actually not come in. And actually when I've let go, that is the moment where it's then gone, okay, you don't care anymore. So now I'm coming back in again. that's kind of what it's been like for me, which yeah, it's interesting. Yeah.
I mean, that is the narrative for anything and everyone, that whatever we want, we focus on it because that's what you
Mm.
do. If you want a teacup in a shop, then you're going to look around for a teacup. You're not going to look around for a fork, right? Because you're looking for a
Yeah.
teacup. So we're used to, in the physical world, looking for the things that we want. Tall
Mm.
guy, big muscles, you know, whatever, likes plants, likes animals, right? But in the energetic world, that person can only come when he is in that same state, and he's got to be in the state already. He can't be trying to be in the state because he's not in the state, and you're attracting somebody who's in that state. And if they're not in that state, then they're not going to be on the alignment with you. So it's that thing of be like, it has to already exist, and then you wait for it to show up. Observing it doesn't do anything. And like all these yogis, they talk about just staying in that surrender. Essentially, it's just a monk on a rock, sort of just sat there with bird food in his hand, and then all these birds just fly to him. He's got the food, which basically means he knows what he wants, and he just sits there, and it comes. And you can't go out and try and find birds; they will come. And again, over trial and error, you realize that this is the only way life works. And once you master it, everything works like that. Whatever it is, seeing someone in the gym, relationships, a job, money, whatever, it's the same pattern. And the more you allow it, the more it happens, the more you're like, oh fuck, this is incredible. And then now you expect it. And now as you're expecting it, more and more happens. And then you just go into this state of it just keeps coming. Like you literally ask your partner, oh, let's get a Nando's tonight. You haven't asked him yet. You're gonna wait for him to come home and then ask him. And he walks in the door with a Nando's. It just happens like that so quickly. You're
Mm.
like, right, well, I guess we're eating Nando's. We don't need to ask for the Nando's. Like you've quantum jumped, you've collapsed the time, you know?
Mm. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It's just there because it already is already. So it's like just aligning to that version of reality that's already happening. Mm. Yeah. I'm feeling like very stretched today, so I'm almost like it's more challenging for me to get into the flow today with this conversation, I would say, because it's been a really challenging day, and I also just went to have acupuncture, so I kind of had a big release and stuff then as well. So yeah, I'm really hearing you, and it's really like potent and relevant for my situation right now. But I'm also kind of like I don't know, I feel like I'm receiving what you're saying as opposed to like giving more. Does that make sense? Like I'm not like all of the things. I'm just like intrigued as to what the things that you're bringing through to like reflect on, I guess, rather than bringing lots of
No,
stuff myself up now. That's what it feels like.
absolutely. If yeah, absolutely. So the acupuncture thing,
Mm.
I've done that once and I had it just in my ears. I went to this festival, we laid on the floor, they put it like in your ears. What do you think the acupuncture does? Like what has it done for you?
So it's really interesting because it's like a community acupuncture. So it's this guy that is just like there's loads of people at once, so he can see more people for like
Yeah,
lower
that's what I
cost
did,
and
yeah.
more accessible. Yeah, it's really cool. And so you just like lay on a chair and he put needles in my ears, my hands, my face, my head, and my feet. And I've had acupuncture in the past, but they've never like hurt. And these ones really hurt. Like yeah, I don't know. It was just like specific points. It's like I knew he knew his shit by like what he was doing and where he was putting the needles and like with the effect that it was having on me. I was having like internal like uh like like when you see fuzz on a television screen and it's like that, it was like that feeling but in my body, and it was just like a
Mm.
resetting. I get that sometimes when I do like light language activations and like channeling and things like that. But it was just very very physical, and because I was quite internal and I was feeling the physical sensations, it was really connecting me to my body and kind of bringing me out of that, like, oh, I'm just off in the astral, like floating around. It was like very much like this bridging of the physical and the spiritual almost. It was very powerful. So yeah, I'm going to go back in a couple of weeks and
So
have some more.
what does it do exactly? How does it make changes in the body?
So I think the like the physical aspect of it is that it like works on the meridians. So there's different like lines that run through the body, and they relate to different energy points. And like I'm not exactly sure, but it's like Chinese energy centers basically. So it's like there's different lines of energy that run through the body, and like if you have pain or like blockage in any specific place, then the needle can basically like break that up and assist in the like kind of realigning of the energy like meridian line basically. um so it like I think it works with like chi as well, so there's like it like any stagnancy that's in the body, it can like it can break that up as well. So yeah, it's just very much like that on a physical space. But then from like an energetic point of view, I mean, I guess that is energetic really, but like more like energetic, physical, like spiritual, it like just like clears out old energy, and it kind of just can like open up different pathways to like seeing things differently, or for your body to act in a different way, to release, like to let go of old trauma, like all of these different things. So it can just be really beneficial in like so many ways on different levels. So yeah, I've
So
personally
it's
experienced a lot of pain, so that's why I went to see this guy today.
so does it do it more on an energy standpoint or muscle? Like does it?
So it also stimulates. So it stimulates like this the subtle layers of like tissue. So like the fascia. Do you know about fascia?
No. What is fascia?
So fascia is basically the connective tissue. So I'm a massage therapist, so I work with fascia a lot. So fascia is basically like around every piece of our body, around all of our organs, around every muscle fiber, every bundle of muscle fibers, every bundle of bundles, every muscle itself. There's fascia. So like if you eat meat and you cook chicken, if you cook a chicken breast, there's like you know the white stuff that you get, like it kind of that's fascia
Yeah.
basically. And what it does is it creates like a web, so you know like a spider web, and when you have a spider and it catches a fly, like it literally can, it like pinpoints it, and the rest of the web like goes tight around it basically, and it knows where this one point is. So basically if there's a disturbance within our fascia in one particular place, so say like I've got a pain here, basically the rest of the body can kind of like tighten in response to it, because there's like a disruption in the fascia. And we can get that in any way from like from stored trauma in the body, from an injury, from an accident, like anything, you know, any kind of thing. Even just something as simple as like hitting your leg on the table or something like that, and you get a bruise, and you can literally just like mess up the fascia a little bit. And so moving like it's really subtle as well. So the needle can stimulate that to kind of like tighten, if that makes sense. It
Mm.
kind of just
Yeah.
like loosens it up again. Also like skin stretching and stuff like that through massage would help a lot as well. But like acupuncture is also a stimulant for it. And then also lymphatic. So our lymphatic system is very much like in a very shallow layer within the skin. So like the physical insertion of needles can stimulate our lymphatic system as well, which like can really help with, so the lymphatic system is like the sewer system of the body, so it can help with like letting go of like old toxins and things like that that have accumulated physically within the tissues of the body as well.
Do you know much about when you sleep, having your head one side drains the brain more than the other side?
No, I didn't know that. Which side is it?
Well, so I'm asking you. So
Oh,
I always sleep.
no.
I have like this routine where I will lay my back and I'll go left, right, left, right, left, and then right, and then I'm off. But there is a specific side where the brain will drain blood, toxins will drain more on one side, the same as if you lay on your left side, for example,
Better for
your
your stomach.
stomach is higher up,
Yeah.
versus if you lay on your right side, your stomach is the other side. So all the gases move a certain way, but there's supposed to be a specific way that you should sleep in order to get the most toxins out of the brain and also help with digestion. But obviously you don't know much about that.
I know about sleeping on your left side for the stomach. I know that, and that I generally will sleep on my left side because of that. But yeah, I don't know about the brain. I've not heard of that.
What is the left side? What is it about the left side compared to the right side then?
It is just what you said about the stomach and the acids, like not having. So especially if you have issues with like acid reflux or like um, lower esophageal issues, then it stops the acids rising up through your digestive system at night, basically, because it's, as you say, it's like below rather than above your esophagus, like where it comes out.
So actually, you should sleep on your left rather than your right then.
Yeah, generally. Or your
Hmm.
back, I guess. I don't know. I guess however you're comfortable is the most like is the best thing. Everyone's different. Everyone's gonna have a different experience of sleep. So yeah, I personally sleep on my left generally, but I also have issues with my left arm, so I try and kind of sleep more on my back, I guess, than my left.
See, I used to be a front sleeper like back in the day, and then I had to chiropractor, and he was like, "You shouldn't sleep on your front. It's not good for your posture. You should sleep on your back." So pretty much since that day, I just sleep like a corpse on my back, where my hands on my chest, and I lay flat, and I don't use a pillow, so I just literally go straight back. But I've been having sports massages regularly, and I can't explain the power of a sports massage. Like I can't do that anymore, or from sleeping like that all the time, I used to have such a stiff neck, and now that's all sorted out. I can move my arm behind my back, I can lift things differently. Like how my muscles are because of the sports massage is life changing. And I think so many people are so tense that they don't even realize it. Like bending down to do your shoelace might feel like a chore because, say, the lower part of your back is tight, and it is really, really, really painful. But as a masseuse, you'll know that the importance of having a massage goes far more than just, oh, this feels nice and relaxing. It's, I see somebody walking around the gym today. He must be about 65. He's literally bent over and he's sort of just waddling like a penguin. And I'm like, I know you don't exercise. I know you sit in a chair all day. I know you don't stretch. And I know you don't lift weights. That is what happens. And I'm thinking, you have to do all this shit. You have to lift weights. You have to stretch. You have to walk, because if you don't, our bodies are going to just seize up like that person. And a sports massage has to be, I think, has to be part of routine, because let's say we're sitting down all day, well, we're going to be tight in certain areas. And unless you say we're sleeping on our front, on our arm like that, we're going to have muscle issues in our back, and we need massages to release it. It's it's changed my life, these sports massages.
Amazing. How long have you been having them for?
I've been having them for about once a month for the past year or so, but at least
Nice.
once a month for the past year or so. Because I do jiu-jitsu, and what I found is that once I get in positions, or people get me in positions, it fucked me up. And that was because I was tight and I couldn't, say, stretch my arm like that. So when she does all this movement and stuff, it means that when someone gets me in that position, I now don't injure myself. So it's so important just to prevent injury if you're stretched. Hence, with the importance of stretching, you don't realize, like it said, bending down, picking up something off the floor can be such effort because you have tight hamstrings.
Yeah, fully, definitely. Yeah. And then like again, that links back into the fascia thing, because if you've got like an injury or you're not moving so much for a long time, the fascia gets tighter as well. So it's harder to yeah, to stretch the muscle, because if the muscle can stretch, but if the fascia is tight, then it doesn't matter how much you're stretching the muscle, because it's always going to go back. The same with having a chiropractic appointment. If you go and get the bones readjusted, then that's great for like a day, and then the muscles are still like not great and not stretched enough, so it just goes back exactly the same as what it was before. So like deep massage is really good. Like I personally, like I work holistically, so I work like more like slowly and gently at first into the body to like move through the tissues and move through the fascia, because sports massage can be like too much. Depends on your body. Again, everyone's different. Everyone needs different things. But sports massage is quite intense, so it can be like too much for the body sometimes. I know personally, like I need like slower, softer, like a warm up into my tissues, because I've been chronically tight for like a really, really long time. So to go in, like it's like corn flour. Do you know how corn flour goes? When like you hit it and it's hard, but then you like push into it and it like becomes more of a liquid. Have you ever seen that? And they so
I know what you
basically,
mean. Yeah.
yeah. So it's basically like with sports massage, sometimes they can go in too quick, too soon, and it basically like has the opposite effect. It puts you back into a fight or flight response, and it tenses up your muscles rather than releases them. So it's like, yeah. So I mean, personally, with sports massage, I always would like recommend like holistically. But again, if it's like helped you, that's amazing. That's great, and it's really powerful that it's like changed. Well, it sounds like it's changed your life because you've now got like relief in your neck and your arm and everything like that. It's really amazing.
See, I can put my arm behind my back. Since the
Hmm.
sports massage, I now can. I would bend down a certain way because my hamstring was so tight, and she sorted that out in one session. And now
Amazing.
I can move it again. And I'd sleep like with my legs straight because doing that at an angle would slightly feel tense and tight. So I'll go
Hmm.
back to it being straight. And it's like we're adapting to things that shouldn't be there. I will have a tight top of my back because I'm on my computer mouse all day standing up.
Hmm.
Because I'm standing up, my lower back is tight. Whereas years ago, I couldn't stand up for 10 minutes. Now I can stand up for like 2 hours. My desk is standing up. As a result, different parts of my body is compromising, such as my lower back. And you could say my hamstrings. I'm standing straight, so my
Hmm.
hamstrings are tight. Whereas if I'm sitting down normally, like back in the day, another part of me is tight. So yeah, it is life changing. And if you can handle the pain of a sports massage, it is so worth it. Um, it's so worth it. But my masseuse says not many people can handle that amount of pain. And I
Hmm.
said, have I got a high pain threshold? She goes, yes. She goes,
Hmm.
you just want to be perfect, and you're never going to be perfect because you're always going to have tight muscles. All you can do is simply maintain your body as best as you can. But it's life changing.
Hmm. Amazing. That's really beautiful. I love that. Yeah, it really is. It's like having regular massage can be so powerful. I feel like we should all have massage all the time. I think if we lived in community, we could have like all of the massages and everyone would be doing that all the time. I think it's really good to do on a
Hmm.
regular basis, at least like once a week. Like I generally try and get a session like every couple of weeks if I can.
See, that's why I set up Find My Tribe, because I wanted a place, a communal place that's open 24/7. That if you want a light working service, healing, Reiki, massage, sound bath, whatever it is, you go to that place and then you know somebody there is doing massage, somebody there's doing Reiki, somebody there's doing a sound bath, someone there's doing yoga. And all you do is say, can you give me a massage? And I'll give you Reiki. Or can you help me stretch? And I'll give you chiropractic. Can you teach me how to grow a plant from a stem? And I will teach you how to make teas from herbs. So, you know, that's what Find My Tribe is about, where you find people to exchange services for free that the light workers are doing because they like it and they want it themselves. But because they're busy working all the time, they don't have time to do it. Plus, why would you need to pay for something that someone else in your field can do for free when they want something the same that you are offering? And they also don't need to pay. So just simply trade and exchange. Cut the middleman out, which is the dollar, and just trade. So yeah,
Hmm.
this is what we're missing. Like back in the day, it would take a village to raise a kid. Now, you know, one person after they divorced raises a kid. But you got everyone doing everything. Someone doing the farm, someone cutting the grass, someone doing the baby, someone milking the cow, someone making dinner, someone doing the tea. Now it's like one person's expected to do everything. And
Hmm.
it's bollocks.
Yeah, it really is. It's super hard as well. It's like, yeah, super challenging to be to doing all this. And like, especially like as you say, like raising kids as well. Like, yeah, it's really, really challenging. And I feel like that's such an important thing about coming back into community because if we all do things that are based on our strengths, like we all just bring our strengths, then that is how we thrive, right? So it's like, okay, I'm going to bring my strength here because like that's what I do. That's what my gift. Like this is my gift, so I'm going to share this gift. And if you share your gift, then everyone's great because we've all got different gifts and everyone is served in that way. And then we're also served internally because we're sharing our gift, which is I feel like our life purpose is to share our gifts that we are given, like that we come here with. We find as like our authenticity as what we are.
And rather than people not getting along with people because of the differences, if you've connected with somebody based on a extremely huge positive, like you've massaged them or you've given them a sound bath, all of a sudden you don't care about the other sides to them that you might have disagreed with, because you've already connected and bonded on that one thing. So the fact that we're not connecting on anything means that you're just left with basically strangers, and there's going to be more things to not get along with than getting along with them, because we're different, so therefore different comes first. Get to know somebody, oh, actually more similar than we thought. So having that one thing that you connect with reduces any conflict and difference between the two humans, and you're literally left with two humans that are literally two humans. And then this community thing comes in, where you're just all providing the one thing that you can offer the community, and whatever you can't is absolutely irrelevant, because you're gaining value. You're in the tribe, so people can stay in the tribe.
And if you can't, then someone else can. Like that's the whole thing, isn't it? It's like, actually, I can't do this. I'm not able to do that because it's not my job. Someone else is doing that. That's their gift. That's their talent. I'm not gonna go out and do that thing because it's not up to me to do. Like I really hear that. And also like that bridging of like like meeting as humans, meeting as people. Like, okay, I'm gonna gift you this service, you're going to gift me this service, we're being of service to each other, and by that, like, we're meeting each other, we're bridging. So even if we're like far apart, we're not going to get on any other way, like through this place where we're actually, it's kind of like a vulnerability as well, isn't it? Like when you're offering like well-being service to someone, because they're in a vulnerable space, they're like more open, they're heart-centered, they're like soft. So it like helps that bridge, because it's like, okay, well, maybe we're from totally different worlds and we wouldn't usually connect on anything, but because we've actually softened and come into our hearts, like we can bridge more, and then we can kind of open from this place of like purity and love, like rather than like needing to be any specific kind of way.
Yes. Yes. That was so aligned that I'm like, well, that's nothing to say on that bit. Yes. No. What's been on your mind recently that you're trying to work out? And
loads of stuff, lots of stuff with relationship. I guess like transition at the moment, and trusting, like leaning into trusting. Like that's been the biggest thing for me. Kind of like, as you were saying about the manifestation, like really trusting that I am held, and that everything is coming to me in perfect time, and that things are happening. Not even like moving from the victim is a big one at the moment for me. I think like not even like things are happening, obviously making the step from things are happening to me to things are happening for me is such a massive piece. But then even moving past that, like it's not things are happening for me, things are happening as me. I've literally created the situation. Like even if from this standpoint, from this human perception, I can't see that right now, it's happening. Like I've done it, I've made it already. And so maybe that thing that I really desire isn't here right now, but actually that's because on a deeper level, I desire the thing that is. And like that is what I need for my highest evolution right now. And I feel like, I don't know, it's just like, it's almost like this kind of surrendering to like my wants, my desires, and just trusting that like my higher wants and desires are being actualized by my experience that I'm experiencing right now. So it's like my soul wants the experience I'm having right now, even if my human doesn't, kind of thing. Like that bridging of that kind of thing. That's kind of what I'm in at the moment, I guess.
Yeah, so there was a period when I wanted so much and it just would never come, and I would hate myself. Why can't I get everything? Why has everyone else got it and I haven't? And then you realize that by getting in that state and being victim and attacking yourself just pushes it away from further. Your energy is so low and stagnant and negative that you're completely the opposite end of what you want. So again, you come out of that victim and understand that I'm creating this, is happening it is me. Like I'm creating this just by doing and being what I'm doing right now, separating yourself from that, and sort of just like, I call it, imagine you're just walking along and then you're in a bubble, and then the bubble just sort of floats off and you're now looking at the bubble, right? You're looking at you in the bubble just sort of floating off. Stepping back and letting it go forward basically means to me that I'm now surrendering, and I will now watch the catch up. So rather than sort of float where I think I need to go in the bubble, I'm watching the bubble float where it goes. And now I just follow the bubble where it goes. There's no resistance. It's just I'm going wherever the bubble is. Essentially, if you speed up that time, you're already in the bubble, and the bubble's where you want to be. Whereas being in the bubble and sort of floating around where you think it's going to be, you're like, do I go left? Do I go right? Oh, fuck, a day's pass, a week's pass. Why can't I find the destination? So stepping back, watching the bubble float away can take days, weeks, or months, but you know it gets there, and then you sort of just speed up into it. It's almost like watching a program live, pausing the TV, and then speeding it up times 4 and getting to the same place by simply just pausing and then just knowing that the program is playing live in the background. Yeah, the program is live. It's happening in real time. You can't see it. It's happening in the studio. I've paused it. I've gone to have a bath. I know when I come back that it's going to be there. Like the results of the X Factor are going to be there. It's already happened. The results have happened. They're out there. Okay. So now you apply that to anything in life. It's whatever I want. It's like the live TV. It's happening. It's happened. I just haven't got there. And then I just sort of flow, and literally just like the fast forwarding, it is I just flow into that state of, oh, he won the X Factor. Oh, I got this person, I got this job, I got this house, I got this gig, I got this whatever. And that's called letting the time play out. I call it let the distance play out, meaning you want it now. You're trying to pull the future here. You can't. You've got to let the distance play out. If it's going to take 3 weeks, if it's going to take 3 sunsets and 3 sunrises, fucking idiot, sunrises, it's going to take 30, well, 30 sunrises, 30 sunsets. What can you do? Just got to sit at the sunrise, sit at the hill, watch the sun come up, watch the sun come down, watch the sun come up, watch the sun come down, and eventually you're there. Eventually you fast forwarded and can't go any further because we're caught up. We are live. We have caught up, and that's what I call wanting something in the future that hasn't yet arrived. Look at it like pausing live TV.
I love that. That's really beautiful. Yeah, because actually also it's about like appreciating the beauty of the sunset and the sunrise, like each day anyway, right? Like it's having the gratitude. That's the most important piece as well. I think it's like I feel like my partner, for instance, he's like very much like I'm just ready. I've done all this work and I'm just ready to just like have all the money and do all the things and like I'm just there. I'm just ready now. And I'm like, yeah, but also like it's that it's like this piece of like you're not grateful for what's here now that is actually stopping all of that from coming in. And it's just like, well, it's because I know I deserve more and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, but it's like it is the gratitude. And I like he is just a reflection for me, of course. Like that's like our partners are our most powerful reflections, right? And it's just like that thing of like, oh, it's reminding me that actually I am living maybe not in the present as much as I could be, or like, you know, like the gratitude isn't, but it is there as well. Like I'm so grateful for so much. And then also there's like, it's the victim. It's the feeling out of control thing as well, I think, because like I have like a lot of control stuff. And like when you are surrendering to life, it's like, okay, all of my control has to like die now. Like my ego literally has to dissolve because I can't control it. And it's like the surrendering of the control is so big. So it's like a spiral that continuously comes back around. Just like, oh, look, I'm trying to control that again. I'm trying to control this thing again. And it's like, I'm not going to win. So I need to like surrender and realize I am winning by doing that, if that makes sense. It's like, I'm not going to win, but I am winning.
Yeah, it's like a single mother wanting to do everything herself because her ego and her independence, and I can do it. I don't need anybody to help me. And it's like, you do realize that back in the day, grandparents had like 10 kids and all the siblings did everything, like bathed, wiped the kids' ass, cooked, fed, mum's having a nap, take the kids to school. There was fucking like 10 of them all doing everything. Okay. And you know, there takes a village to raise a kid, not just one person. Again, letting that control go of I can't do it and allowing other people to help is the same as basically surrendering to the universe, trusting God, somebody else to do its shit, that we don't have to control it, and that it's nothing to do with ego or independence or weakness or whatever. It's just that's how the universe works. We need people to get us to the end goal, whether it's getting us in the grave, popping us out of vagina in the hospital, or cooking or whatever. It all requires people, which essentially means you have to surrender to somebody helping you in some form, whether it's trusting somebody will sell your house. It all comes down to letting go your control. And myself as a control freak, I had to learn this, that you actually have more control by letting go of control, because God is the most controlling, powerful person, and you become God where you have all the control in the world. So it's like, I'm giving up this, what I thought was power, and actually I'm gaining the fucking power of the universe.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. It's like giving up your small desire and want to like open. Have you seen that? There's like a meme and it's like there's like a picture and it's like God on one side and this little kid on the other side, and he's like crying because he doesn't want to give up this tiny little present, and God's got this like massive gift behind his back but he just doesn't even know that it's there, you know. And it's like, just give this tiny thing up that you think is the best thing ever, and actually you'll receive like more, you know. My little puppies down here.
Yeah, trusting that feeling of if I let this go, something better is going to come. And you've got a wall where you can't see behind, but your intuition says something's behind, but I don't know, I can't see it. And if I can't see it, then I'm just going to hold on to this. But it's that I trust that if I let this go, something better is going to come. And then building up that rapport with yourself, that last time I did that, something better came. And then every time you do it, bigger things come. And eventually you just take it all. Oh, fuck me, look at the size of this present, ginormous, fuck it, have this as well. Oh my God, be even bigger. And then you're like, this is how the universe works. In order to expand, you have to kind of move through the now, which is letting go of what you have for something else to come, and then repeating that pattern, and then you're dead.
Yeah. Well, it's like the birthing, isn't it? It's constant rebirthing, and every time, like in birth, there is a contraction before the expansion. Like in every time, like there always is. So it's like this, like coming in to like come back out again, like each time. The wave.
So when you're having sex, right, and the woman squeezes when she orgasms, she is squeezing the energy, the cum, right, straight up her vagina, and then she pops the baby out, which is now the cum, right? And it's that push pull. It's that, you know, expansion and opposite to expansion.
Contraction.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Right. Anything you want to promote and plug before we end?
Promote and plug. What have I got? I've got a couple of things coming up, but they're in Pembrokeshire. So I guess anyone in Pembrokeshire next weekend, I'm doing a gig at the Manorbier in Manorbier. It's going to be my first performance of my new album, which is going to be on all streaming platforms very soon under my my artist name, which is Illumin, Elumin. So yeah, there's a little plug there. And I'm going to be starting to do some ecstatic dances and things like that in Ipswich soon, along with like sound healing events and meditation things, sharing circles, singing circles, all of the good juicy things. Now I'm relocated to this area, so yeah, bringing all the good vibes down here.
And if you had one day left to live, what is the one thing that you would tell the rest of the world?
That we could always have one day left to live, so live like it's your last day.
Thanks for listening. If you like this episode, please remember to subscribe, turn the bell notifications on, like the episode, and comment below. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, it's YesKingOliver. Take a look at the other videos to your side. And if you just want to listen to this podcast, you can do so on Apple and Spotify and most other platforms by going to talkwitholiver.com.